Hey Breck students, Frank here from AFP, and today I want to talk about a very sensitive topic to me and a very important topic, which is, since Mondays is usually about talking about engineering, and like getting music recorded. I just want to do a little bit of talking about the idea behind releasing music. So in 2020, we are very fortunate to be gifted with all this technology and be able to kind of be our own managers, producers, and engineers. I, for one, myself kind of do it all for myself. I make my own music, I write my own music, I record and produce my own music, and I do everything to getting it down and released into the market, into like iTunes and Spotify. But something that I really want to talk to you guys about today is knowing when your mix or knowing when your project is ready, because so many times I'll have a friend that comes up to me and tells me, hey, my music is out there. I got my music on SoundCloud. I got my music on iTunes. I got my music on Apple Music. And there's this excitement that comes along with releasing music and having it be on those platforms, because there is a sense of being official that comes along with knowing that you're on a major streaming platform. Well, there's some reality behind putting yourself out there like that, and basically how that goes is, for certain people, when your music is out there and it's not necessarily ready, people get kind of this overall internalized image that, oh, this is how this is how they sound, or this is how that artist sounds, or this is how that music sounds. It can be very dangerous, and I mean that metaphorically, not literally dangerous, but it could be very crucial to the I guess legacy of the artist if their music sounds bad, on a big social, not about to say social, excuse me, on a big streaming platform. And I like to tell my students, if you don't rush into recording music to get it released. Recording music, the stage of recording music should be something that you approach when you're solidified that your song is ready, that you know what parts go where, what words go where. You don't go into the studio all the time to make the magic happen. Now, for me, a lot of the magic happens creatively in the studio. I'm not the type of musician that kind of goes off outside of the studio, goes home and just writes music and I think I'm going to record that. No, it kind of happens simultaneously. Everybody's different. But I feel like when we, as artists, make something and re-record it, we get this sense of gratification, like, oh, snap, somebody has to hear this. This sounds official. This sounds great. I have to get this out. And the sad truth, the unfortunate truth behind it is that, there's so many people out there currently trying to get their music out. There's so many people trying to do the same thing, self-produce, make their own beats, be their own manager, and basically what we have is this, we have a bunch of people releasing music, and it's like now the standard has been set higher, and every year the standard gets higher and higher and higher. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, make music, record music, make art, but tailor it until it can't be any better than it is, to you. Fall in love with it. Love your music first. Don't worry about who cares. Don't worry about anyone else's opinion on your music but you. And know that releasing music is letting go of something that was once yours and giving it to the world. So once you've released the music and the music is on, platforms, there's no controlling it. There's no controlling what people think or anything. If something sounds bad to someone, they're gonna feel like it sounds bad, and you want to try your best to avoid that. That's why I'm really, I can't stress enough that, respect streaming platforms in the sense where, like, don't be quick to release music so quickly. Don't be quick to, like, get your first mixtape out, because, there's a lot of other people outside doing that same thing, and you want to make sure that your work sticks out from theirs. You want to make sure that your work sounds unique to you and sounds great and tailored to your liking. And that, to me, is the magic behind the recording process and the music industry process, because so many albums that came out that were legendary were albums that were really beautiful and really amazing, and were created in a very unique way. And we're talking about a time before, Apple Music. We're talking about a time before Rhapsody. We're talking about a time before, FrostWire, before illegal downloading, before anything like that. We're just talking about buying a record and experience a record from start to finish. That was a time when if you bought music that you didn't like, you felt bad about it. You'd be stuck with a record that you didn't want to listen to. Now, now that it's not like that anymore, anybody can release a song, anybody can release a track, and you want to really stick out as an artist. You want to really fall in love with your own work. You want people to also enjoy your work. And sometimes artists release their music, and they, like I said earlier, they have this sense of officialness. Like, they're official because their music is out. And, like, I feel like what makes an artist official is the way they go about crafting their music, is the way they go about respecting their music, the way they go about performing their music. Now, the unfortunate truth behind today's music industry is the music industry generates cash and money through not just streaming, but performing and touring. So if you have, if you really want to go for making music on a level where you're generating, you're starting to generate money, and I'm talking to those who are like, who have their music together, who know how to engineer, who are waiting to get their music out there, and it's like, or who not necessarily know how to engineer, but who at least have the music ready. You want to make sure that your music sounds good first, and you want to make sure that, whatever you're going to release into the world, you're going to be satisfied with, and then people will enjoy it on their own terms. And I feel like too many people today, who don't have the guidance and who are not, knowledgeable on how, the recording industry works, don't realize that you don't get only famous on streams. You get famous by going out and performing. You get famous by doing, both getting streams, performing, and showing your face, and kind of like being the music, So, on that note, just remember that your music is very important if it comes from you. It belongs to you first. And when you press upload and you put all that music out there, it's no longer yours. It's no longer, solely your property. You kind of give it to everyone else to, decide what it is, what its relevance is. And that's a tricky thing sometimes. So, on that note, if you have any questions on how to go about releasing music and how to know when your mix is ready, please, shoot me a question in the comments, and I'd love to, have a discussion with you about that. I've made mistakes about releasing music. I've released music, and I'm like, I'll go back to listening to it 2 years later, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I put that out there. And, that could have been better. But, before I go, one more thing I'd like to say is don't also, in keeping all these things in mind, and it kind of sounds negative, in keeping all these things in mind, don't hold on to it. Share it with the world. Music and art are meant to be shared with other people. It's meant to be, it's the universal language that bonds people together. And I feel like, especially in a time like this, we need music. We need more music, newer music that isn't just, the typical pop and rap and trap. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but it's like, we need something more unique and different. You know, it's 2020. We need more artists to come out. We need different voices, you know. So I'm so happy that I got to, you know, express that to you, and, you know, just really respect your craft, and hold on to what you have. If you feel like something's good and it sounds good and it's like, this is my concerto, like, don't be so quick to release it, you know. Take time on it, think about it, show it to your friends, let people listen to it, and ask people, hey, is this ready? You know, does this sound good? What could I do to make this better? How did you feel listening to it? You know? And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions, leave it in the comment below. I'm Frank, and happy Monday. Peace.